Alright, y'all, so my apologies for not having any videos come out for the last 2 days, you know what I'm saying? There was really nothing to talk about, to be honest, like, especially not with the NBA, because the NBA was off last night because of the national championship, which is what we're about to talk about now. Um, and I hadn't been watching enough March Madness to really do, like, a championship preview or anything like that, especially because I thought Purdue was going to lose, I think, at the Elite Eight or Sweet 16, so, I'm an idiot. And I definitely wasn't going to make a video just to make a video. Like, I didn't want to make a video about a topic that was boring or a topic that's been overplayed or something that y'all just didn't care about or that I didn't care about, because it would come out in the quality of the video. So, let's talk about something that's actually interesting, the national championship game last night. More specifically, Zach Edey, but we'll get there. So last night, UConn beat Purdue in the national championship game 75-60. They go back-to-back. UConn has literally dominated for the last 2 years. They were dominant in the tournament last year, and then this year they were even more dominant. They won by like an average margin of 18 points. I don't think that includes last night. I haven't seen the number since last night, but before last night they were winning by an average margin of 18, and then last night they won by 15. So it's not too much different. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's insane. But that's not what this video is about. Over the last 2 years, not only has UConn been dominant, but Zach Edey's been a really big name. He's been very dominant. He just finished up one of the most dominant college careers ever. And I woke up today, and this is actually why I started doing this video. Thank you, God, for giving me the idea. But I woke up today, saw some messages from the group chat with the boys in it, some of the homies from high school, and they were saying how they don't want to hear any more Zach Edey hate, any more Zach Edey slander, all that, right? First of all, they were talking to me, because out of the 4 of us in the group, I was the Zach Edey hater, and I had reasons. Now, I wasn't just hating for no reason, but I should have been hating in the first place, because, like, why am I hating on a college kid? Like, I want him to succeed. And it's not that I was hating to the point where, like, I didn't want to see him succeed. I was hating in the manner that I didn't think he would succeed, and I was just saying it more aggressively, so it was like that type of hate. I'm not the type of dude that's going to wish negatively on someone. That's not the type of hate I'm talking about, so before y'all start canceling me, relax, alright? But, so I won't lie. The 2 reasons that, I've been hating on Zach Edey for the last year and a half, 2 years, last two college seasons, really. The first reason was that he beat Penn State in the NCAA tournament last year in a very close game that I watched the whole game because, I go to Penn State. I'm a junior at Penn State right now. So I was watching that whole game, and that whole time I was stressed, but I was like, hey, we in there now. We definitely doing something. We were in the game the whole time. I was stressing. And at the end of the game, the one thing that became apparent to me, and it was really a theme throughout the whole game, the refs, bro. They were hating on Penn State. They were giving Zach Edey every single call. Penn State did not have any big men that were good. Really didn't have any big men at all. Like, we were going small ball, really, especially compared to the 7'4" Zach Edey. I think he's 7'4". He's probably not even 7'4". I'm probably just yip-yapping. I don't know. He's tall as hell, though. And the second, and I genuinely believe Penn State would have won that game if it had not been for the refs, glazing a little bit, but could be biased. Matter of fact, it probably is biased, so I digress. The second reason is that from what I had seen from him, which was mostly last year's championship, last year's regular season, because I was more into the NBA this year, I wasn't watching too much college. From what I had seen from him, I genuinely didn't think Zach Edey was that good. To be like, I'm a realist. I'm going to tell you how I feel. I have a pretty good track record when it comes to like NBA, like how I feel talent's going to actually do. This year I was wrong because I thought Scoot would be great as a rookie. I thought Brandon Miller would be great, which he has been. I thought Wemby would win Rookie of the Year and would be good, but I didn't expect him to be this good. So this year I was definitely off with some things. And I thought the Thompsons would be good, but I didn't think they would be as impactful as immediately as they have been. Not so much like Asar because he's in a worse situation. Like, he's over there in Detroit. It's hard to be impactful when you have that little spacing, and you're not a guy that's gonna space the floor yourself. So it's tough for him. But defensively, like you've seen, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, I didn't expect them to be like that this early in their careers, right? So I have a pretty good track record, but no one's perfect, and I'm willing to admit when I'm wrong. Zach Edey has proved me wrong over this championship run for the last month. He has proved me wrong, made me look like a fool. All the homies be laughing because they think I'm the one that knows a lot about basketball. Yeah, well, I was wrong about him. At least half wrong so far. We'll see about the rest, but let's really get into it. So, I didn't watch a single Purdue game before March Madness this year. Like I said, I was tuned into the NBA. I wasn't paying attention to college, really. I did not watch a single Purdue game. I maybe watched 2 or 3 college basketball games the whole year before March Madness, and one of them was like the first game in college basketball. It was JMU versus Michigan State, where JMU upset them. I remember I watched that whole game. I think that was it was one of the first college basketball games of the year, and I remember I watched that one. Anyway, So, all of my hate towards Zach Edey, not hate, but you understand what I'm saying, my negativity towards Zach Edey was coming from what I saw from him last year when I genuinely didn't think he was that good. When he declared for the draft last year, I said, nah, he ain't going in because there's no way, like, his draft stock's not high. Like, I genuinely felt like he wasn't that good coming off last year. And I think a lot of NBA scouts felt the same way, which is why he came back to college and didn't stay in the draft last year, right? This year, this March Madness tournament, he shut my stupid self up, bro. Not only did he win his second consecutive National Player of the Year award, which is a great thing, that's good for him. He won that this year, second consecutive, good for him. But he was dominant in the championship, the whole championship, and also the whole year. He carried Purdue to that. And Purdue had some other pieces, but he carried Purdue to the championship game. Even though they lost, he carried them to that appearance. He scored the fourth most points ever in a championship game. He scored 37 last night on 15 to 25 shooting from the field. And he also put up the second most points ever in a championship run with 177 points during this year's tournament. He is tied with somebody, and he's behind. Dang, I forgot who he's behind. But he's behind like an NBA name. Like you would know it if I could remember it. You would know the name. Most of you would, unless you're like more of a casual fan. You'd probably know the name. Anyways, I don't believe Edey. Like, while he had a great college season and a great college career, like I said, one of the most dominant ever, I do not believe Zach Edey will have this level of success or anywhere close to this level of success in the NBA. I have been very adamant in the last week or so saying that I believe he will be kind of a Zubac type of, like, he will be that. I'm not saying they play the same, but I'm saying he will be that caliber of a center, right? That's what I've been saying. That's what I've been telling the homies. I'm like, he will be I think his ceiling would be like a serviceable big in the league, like a solid starting center at best is what I told the homies. I think his ceiling will be, which is a very good ceiling. Like not everybody should come out is going to come out and try to be a generational talent. That's not how it happens. I hate that people are saying, oh well, you're only a good prospect if you're this. Like yeah, for the first overall pick, you might want a generational talent. You might want a guy that could be a 1A or a second piece on the championship team, sure. But, bro, no one's trying to say Zach Edey's going to go first. And it's like not every single prospect is going to be at that talent level, right? Which is a good thing. That's fine. You would get watered down if everybody was that good, right? And like I said, that's what I think his ceiling will be. And that's not even trying to be negative. I'm just trying to tell y'all that from what I've seen this year, that's what I believe his ceiling will be. But after last year, I thought his ceiling would be much lower. Like after last year, I thought he was going to be like a Luka Garza, like barely getting minutes, third center on a team type of player, right? He proved me wrong. He shut me up. He proved to me that he can be much better than that. And he proved to me that he's much improved from the player that he was last year, honestly, which is a great sign because if you can do that in college, then in the NBA with more scouts, with more time in the offseason to improve, you have more, especially coming from a school like Purdue, like you're going to have more things at your disposal in the NBA. You're going to have more technology, better training staff, better training programs in the NBA, right? So that tells me that his ceiling might actually be a little higher. And just that, like, his floor, I think this year he might have raised his ceiling and his floor a little bit for me. Because, like, he showed that he can improve, which is like, okay, if you go into the NBA, you don't have much of a jump shot or anything like that. Like, that's tough, but you've shown that you can improve your game. You can improve your post game. You can improve your footwork, which he has done this year. So it's like, okay, in the NBA, maybe you can improve on a jump shot. Maybe you can develop a mid-range, a serviceable mid-range at least. Maybe you can hit a corner three or two. You know what I'm saying? Like, those are good signs that he was able to improve in college. So that tells me that he can improve in the NBA, which is always a good sign. You never want to see players, like, get stagnant at such a young age. And I do believe that, like I said, he will be a Zubac level center, like a serviceable big in the NBA. But like I said, I'm not an NBA scout. I didn't watch a lot of Purdue this year. So I am genuinely interested to see what his pro career is going to look like. I'm interested to see what his draft stock looks like. Like I'm interested to see first of all, what teams want him. And then second of all, how these teams will use him and how they will develop him. And I think the system that he goes into, I think the situation that he goes into will be a big deal and will have a major factor in how he progresses, as it does with any rookie, but especially when you're a big that doesn't really have a jumper. Like, if you go into a team where they're not going to develop you well, then that's tough, because that's just going to make it to where you're, like, one of these guys that, like, we see talent, we see potential, we see your size and everything, but you're not really going to get minutes on the NBA level because you have to do certain things. Traditionally, like, if you're not going to be one of those guys that's offensively skilled as a center, like a Jokic, like an Embiid, like a Cat, like these guys that can shoot, that can do a lot of things on offense, you got to be a dominant rebounder, which Zach Edey averaged like 12 rebounds or more a game during the tournament, except for in the championship game he only had 10, but still that's a double-double. So you're going to have to be a really good rebounder like a Sabonis guy, but then Sabonis is also a great passer. Okay, well, he's not that. But he can develop into that is what I'm saying. Like, he has room to develop, but I'm saying in the NBA, you got to be one of those guys, or you got to be a Rudy Gobert type of guy where you are a great defender, or Bam Adebayo, where you're a great defender, and even Bam is serviceable offensively. Like, he's been hitting a few more threes in the last week or so. He's been great in the post his whole career. He's very athletic. He's very quick. He's very good defensively, right? So it's like Zach Edey is one of these guys that it's hard for me to judge because I feel like there's no center in the league really for me that is similar to him. Like I said, besides maybe like a Zubac guy, but I think he has better footwork and better post game than Zubac. But other than that, I feel like their games are similar. I think he will be like that caliber player. Like, if I had to guess, you had to ask me not what is his ceiling, what is his floor, but what do you think he will be? I think that is what he will be at best. Like, I think that is, if he gets drafted into the right system and if he really works hard, keeps working hard, keeps trying to develop, I think that is kind of what he will be. But I do believe he has the potential to be higher than that, also has the potential to be lower than that. So, like I said, he just finished up one of the most dominant college careers ever. So, props to him. Congrats to UConn. Congrats to Purdue. Congrats to Zach Edey on all having phenomenal seasons. And really the last 2 years for all three, like for both of those schools, and then Edey as an individual. Congrats to all of them for having a good last 2 years. I'm just really interested to see kind of what he's going to look like in the NBA, kind of what teams are going to want him, how teams are going to use him, and how teams are going to develop him. I'm interested to see because, like I said, the NBA is in a place now where it's like, it's kind of aged out from kind of what his play style is. But I'm very interested to see, and I really want to see what y'all think about this, especially if I have any like Purdue students or diehard Purdue fans or anyone that just watched more college basketball than me in the comments or that watches this video. Let me know how y'all feel. Like I said, my Twitter will be in the description as always, so you let me know. You can DM me on Twitter. You can leave it in the comments. I'm always in the comments. You can go back, check my past videos. Like, I'm always in the comments, always responding, trying to do my best to talk to y'all. Like, it's not like I have a lot of followers or a lot of subscribers or anything, so like, least I could do is talk to the ones that I have. But congrats to everyone for having spectacular years. I really want to hear what y'all think about this. And Zach Edey, like I said, a really confusing player for me, but props to him. He had a great year. He had a great college career, and I'm interested to see what's going to happen for him. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps me out a lot, helps the videos a lot, helps the channel out a lot. So I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Stay blessed. Stay praying. Love y'all.